Welcome to the third episode of our English version self-disclosure series videos. So in our last video, we already covered the first the eighth piece of contents that we awareness or shared on the topics of consciousness last year, which were published online in our social media accounts and also on our website. So in this video, we will continue to talk about the following topics. After watching our last video, you might be wondering why you haven't heard of some of the contents that I talked about in your life before. And you might be wondering what is happening. So the two topics that we will cover in this video might be able to help explain to you part of the reasons behind why there seems to be a difference between your understanding and the reality that I presented. So we will go on to share screen to go to our website consciousness page. So in our last video, we finished this piece about money. And we will now first go through this duality piece. It was published September 4th, 2023. And I said, thus far, we have already revealed some pieces of truths that might have already awed you. You might now be thinking why on earth you did not notice those things that happen in plain sight. For myself, I did spend about 7 years' time to finally comprehend the whole situations and managed to conclude that the following few things are the fundamental reasons why we chose to turn a blind eye on what is actually going on in our lives. And the first thing that I listed was media, the media, including the entertainment industry. And the second thing I listed is our family members, relatives, and peers. And the third thing I listed was our schools. We previously mentioned that the mainstream media and education system are two of the many things that were controlled by the deep state. We human beings, brackets, family members, relatives, friends, colleagues, etc., have fallen victims of these two very things, sadly. Media platforms like television, radio, cinema, newspaper, magazine, etc., have been so powerful and pervasive that from our very childhood, we naturally see the information coming from these sources as quote unquote nothing but the whole truths. As time goes by, we discredit any other information coming from other sources. We only believe those that come from the traditional mainstream media channels. The deep state understood this human psychology deeply very early on and started to build a global network of news, quote unquote, news media and entertainment companies, eliminate channels that spread truthful information, and acquire media companies all over the world so that they can disseminate the same quote unquote news, information, and contents directly and easily. The entertainment contents that they deliberately produce have the ability to paralyze mankind's senses. And I continue, the same goes for the quote unquote education system. The deep state had designed a similar education system all over the world, accompanied by the same syllabuses and evaluation systems. People are destined to be bound by the rules, go on the same quote unquote learning speed, and learn exactly the same contents. After being educated, they get to be rewarded with graduation certificates, titles, and or doctoral degrees. If someone challenges the contents taught in the schools, the school students would feel confused, offended, or even upset because they are unable to comprehend other ideas beyond what has been taught to them at school. As a result, our minds have already been soaked up by the contents coming from the mainstream media and schools. We now forgot to use our own senses to feel and observe the world directly, use our own eyes to look at the realities ourselves, and use our own brain power to dissect events, but automatically rely on the information and views from the mainstream media and only refer to the quote-unquote knowledge acquired in school. These illusions created by the deep state efforts are always drastically differ from the true reality, and we call this phenomenon a duality. If we recognize this situation and start to only use our own senses to discover the truths ourselves and forego the illusions cast on us by the deep state, the duality situation stops to exist. To be continued. So I will share some images that I gathered throughout the years from usually from social media like Facebook before. And these images could help me explain to you guys the things that I want to explain to you guys. So the images. This is the first one. Supposedly the TV news anchor here says, "Good evening, it's 6 o'clock, and here's what we want you to think." So for many years, we watch TV news and or maybe radio news programs, and we are literally fed so-called news stories, and those news stories and narratives do not change a lot. Almost every day, they pretty much talk about the same things and in the same format. So in 2020, 2015-16, when I was doing my research, and I said that I was seeing a lot of coverage on the US presidential election. And back then, Donald Trump always used the term fake news. And this term stayed in my mind for some time. And I was really wondering what he was talking about. And later on, I saw this image, and it's sort of helped me understand what is actually happening in our lives. Sometimes we might not be seeing true stories from our news programs. And the following image shows the media companies channels. I came across a lot of them when I was studying in the US. They have, I remember, like over 100 or 200 channels, TV channels. And in past 8 or 9 years, I realized that those media channels are actually owned by just several companies. So when we were looking at the entertainment contents and news contents on television or in other online media companies, websites. We thought that we are receiving information from many different channels, but maybe we are just receiving those messages from a handful of companies. And this image shows how the several large corporations, media corporations, use the media channels to talk about pretty much the same thing during particular period of times. So for example, in 2020, they talked about the so-called virus every day. And 2021, they talked about the jabs every day. And in 2022, they covered mostly the conflicts in the Ukraine areas. And in 2023, they continue to non-stop talk about global warming and related issues. So it is pretty strange that globally different news channels talk about the pretty much the same things at the same time. So is there a hidden agenda behind? You could do the thinking yourself. And this interesting image has 5 labels here. The far left is the most people, and next to it is the media, and then power behind the media, and truth seekers, and the real life. So I was looking at this image and thought that this can perfectly explain the duality issue. So I think most of us, like around 99% of Hong Kong people, hypothetically is here in the left, inside this cage, and we thought that we were looking at the truths, receiving truths from the media channels, but in fact, there's really a powerful force behind the media companies who, for decades, produce programs and contents that to feed us daily. So over my years of awakening, I spent 5 to 6 years or 7 years to pass through this fire pit and became the truth seekers shown here, trying to reach the real life stage. So I hope that you could get an understanding of the issue, and I hope this image could help you understand what is going on. And this image is quite touching, since I was like one of the very few people who like to look at the real science, especially during past several years during the so-called pandemic, and I was really having some strong feelings about being questioned and that sort of thing. So I almost wanted to cry when I saw this image. And this particular image talks a little bit about our world's current so-called education system. So the system requires us from different background and who have different abilities to take the same tests and exams to be able to qualify for some levels of achievements. So it isn't really a fair thing to do. When I was studying, I didn't realize we were subject to such a unfair system. So in our later videos, we might talk more about our education system. So this is pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys on the topic of duality. And we'll move on to the next topic. It is vibrational frequency concept. We were not taught at school as well. So in this video, I would like to talk a little bit about this concept, and I would also share a little bit of my own personal experience. So let's go back to our page. So this piece is actually a short video produced by Callie. I also wouldn't play the video right now as it is in Cantonese. It does have English subtitles, so you could come back to look at it yourself. And the video's title was Fun Facts Series, Emotions versus Body Vibrational Frequency versus Consciousness. It was published September 30th, 2023. And I said previously, we in Kalimov made a video to introduce to you different levels of human consciousness. This time we went a bit deeper to give you an overview on the concepts of body's vibrational frequencies and how they relate to our own emotions and levels of consciousness. We hope you will like it. So hope you guys remember we did talk about the 3D, 4D, 5D consciousness thing, where the D letter stands for density. So I would like to share an image that shows the definition of density. Okay. So in this image, it says density is the frequency rate of the particles of matter within a dimension. We will not talk about the concept of dimension in this video. We might talk about it a little bit later in other videos. So for example, if something is on a lower density level, its particles run very slowly and they typically sink to the bottom, lower part of space. On the contrary, if something is on a higher density scale, its particles run very fast. They are very fast moving. So they could be said to be on a higher level of density. So this is one of the explanations on the term density in terms of the our vibrational frequency concept. And the next image here might be even more clear. to illustrate the concept to you. So the bar in the middle has different readings, and there are different human emotions written next to it. So on the lower scale, the lower frequency rates generate negative emotions like fear, shame, hatred, etc. And on higher level frequency rate, there are other more positive emotions like acceptance, courage, and pride. And on higher frequency rate, there are even more positive emotions like gratefulness, happiness, love, and peace and joy. So this image here kind of shows you guys that different emotions carry different vibrational frequencies. And the next image was put together by myself. And as I wasn't able to find the image that I wanted to find, so I put together this picture. And I would like to share a little bit of my own personal experience around consciousness and vibrational frequency. So around 7.5 years ago, I came across a documentary video whose name is Conspiracy. During the time when I was doing my research. So later on, I found out that some of the concepts in this movie are a little bit misleading in the areas of climate change, carbon emissions, etc. But that movie, after watching it, I became vegetarian the same day. So before that, I was the person who likes to eat animal meats as well. And after I became vegetarian or vegan, I just consume the foods shown in the upper part of this picture. So many people say that animal meat carries very low vibrational frequencies, and plant foods, on the contrary, carries higher vibrational frequencies. So after I changed my diet, my own frequency also changed. And at the same time, my consciousness level also has changed, and it's been rising ever since. So this is one of the things I would like to share with you guys. Around the concepts of vibrational frequencies, there are also other related things that I would like to share with you guys, as we were not taught in schools. So I made some notes and I will go through them with you guys. So they say that everything is frequency. So apart from human bodies, animals, foods, and Also sounds and colors, everything has a frequency. So we could look at the world differently after learning this concept. Another concept they talk about is that we people and things and places could be separated by different frequencies. So, for example, if we do not carry the same frequencies, we might not be meeting each other. And another example is if a certain place carries a different frequency than yourself, you might not be visiting that place, or you may be driven away from that place. And another concept is the healing of your health or your body issues, health issues could be recovered by adjusting your frequencies. So I think this frequency thing is really, really powerful. And we might talk about another subject in later videos that is related to the using of frequency for healing. And you might be you might experience certain symptoms when your own frequency changes, and when you raise your own levels of consciousness. So those symptoms, they call them the ascension symptoms. So some examples would be feeling muscle pain, headaches, and emotional highs and ups and downs. And maybe you would suddenly cry, and also you might be feeling compelled to go to certain places. So these are the some of the examples of symptoms that you might experience when you change your frequency or level of consciousness. And in the short video that Kali produced on frequency, she talked about how we could raise our level of consciousness. And I also covered some of the ways in our previous written post on consciousness. We could go back quickly. And in this post, I said that we could retrieve our consciousness by doing these things, like increase intake of unpolluted foods, drink water with fluoride filtered out, move away from mainstream media bombardment, get close to the Mother Nature environment more, move away from medical interventions, look inside yourself and follow your own intuitions. So I really recommend you guys to drink more water. And it is a habit I myself have from childhood. I like to drink water a lot. And some other ways is to rest more, go to the nature environment more, and Also, there is a way that I would like to mention is it is the clearing of your personal traumas. They might have things to do with your things that negative things that happened in your childhood that have been influencing your way of thinking or way of doing things after growing up. So if you could identify those traumas and resolve them yourself or through other ways through consulting professionals to clear those personal traumas, you could also raise your level of consciousness. So this is pretty much what I would like to cover in this video. So in the next video, we will start to talk about our next post that has a title Identity. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.